Emma's journey with ground elder had started long before she even realized it. As a child, she had watched her grandmother kneel in the garden, running her fingers over the wild green carpet that seemed to spread overnight. "Most people pull it out," her grandmother would say, a knowing smile on her lips. "But they don't understand. Ground elder isn't a weed, it's a gift." Back then, Emma hadn't paid much attention. She had been more interested in the fruit trees, the bright red tomatoes, the rows of fragrant basil. Ground elder was just there, growing in every corner, soft and relentless. It wasn't until years later, when she embraced permaculture and the rhythms of natural gardening, that she finally saw it for what it was: a resilient, nutrient-packed, and utterly delicious ally. Now, every spring, when the first tender shoots of ground elder appeared, Emma would gather them carefully, choosing only the youngest leaves, the ones that were still soft and vibrant. She had learned to recognize its signature: the three-part leaves, the delicate serrated edges, the unmistakable triangular stem. If you know how to see, she thought, ground elder will always tell you who it is. She never took more than she needed. That was the first rule of foraging, a rule her grandmother had lived by. Leave enough for the bees, the soil, and the plant itself. Harvest with gratitude, not greed. She would fill her basket, the scent of green and earth rising with the morning air, knowing that soon those humble leaves would be transformed into something special. In the kitchen, Emma worked with quiet focus. The rhythm of chopping, grinding, and mixing was a meditation in itself. She had made countless versions of pesto before: basil, wild garlic, even carrot tops, but ground elder had its own magic. Bright, slightly peppery, and deeply grounding, it tasted like the garden itself. She laid out the ingredients, each one carefully chosen: a generous handful of fresh ground elder leaves, 1 clove of garlic, pungent and full of life, a small handful of sunflower seeds, toasted just enough to bring out their warmth, a drizzle of golden oil, sometimes olive, but often something different, depending on what she had on hand. Walnut for depth, rapeseed for a mild nuttiness, even avocado for extra creaminess. And lastly, a pinch of salt, the simplest but most necessary ingredient. She worked with a mortar and pestle, enjoying the slow transformation as the leaves broke down, their deep green releasing its fragrance into the air. The scent filled the kitchen, reminding her of forest floors, of morning dew, of the unbreakable bond between the land and the hands that tended it. She tasted it, sharp, nutty, with just the right bite of garlic. A spoonful spread onto fresh bread, still warm from the oven, and suddenly it wasn't just food. It was a connection, a story, an old wisdom reborn in her own hands. Eating ground elder felt different from eating store-bought greens. It wasn't just about flavor, it was about reclaiming something. About recognizing that food doesn't have to come in plastic containers or from faraway fields. It could be right here, beneath her feet, growing wild and free. She thought about how much had changed, how she no longer fought against the so-called weeds in her garden, but welcomed them, how she no longer saw ground elder as a nuisance, but as a teacher. Her grandmother had been right all along. The earth gives us what we need if only we are willing to see it. And with every bite of ground elder pesto, Emma knew she was tasting something more than just a plant. She was tasting resilience, abundance, and the quiet, undeniable wisdom of the land.